I never like what honestly Schultz says post game if they lose or lose 6 or 7. Like, yay! I mean, give me a break, dude. How can you not be like, look, we had a real opportunity. At the end of the first half, we're playing some really, really good baseball, and we squandered that opportunity, and that's on us. Glad the break is right now. We'll recharge the batteries. We have a tough road trip coming up, but I feel confident about these guys. We're doing some good things, and we're going to play some really good baseball. Like, you just can't say that ever.
No, and he definitely did not say that. Now, he said it hasn't all been positive, but he said he likes where this team is at this point, and he thinks they're going to get healthier. I mean, for whatever it's worth, he always says the same thing. He thinks this is the 27 Yankees, even though they're the 24 Padres and they're 50 and 49, like every other team in baseball. This is from Marty. Find her on YouTube, Marty Time TV. Great resource for Padres fans. We appreciate her allowing us sharing some of her video. So let's take a watch and a listen to the conversation with Manny Machado in the clubhouse.
I know that's like exactly halfway, but how would you assess where you guys are right now going into the break and setting up for the second half?
I think we're in a good position. We put ourselves in a great position to go out there and compete the second half and leave it all out there.
How important will these 2 days be, guys like yourself, Luis, rest up, knowing what you're going through, and for that second half push?
Yeah, I mean, the break is always great. You take a couple of days off, kind of hit the refresh button, and come back, ready for the second half. So I know a lot of people in here, especially our team. I mean, all around the league, everyone's banged up, but for ourselves to kind of regroup, kind of hit that reset button, it's going to kind of feel good for us, and just kind of get our mindset ready for that second half.
Does it feel like you guys have played more games than anybody else?
I mean, not really. I mean, I think at this point it just is what it is. It's a lot of baseball, and we're just glad we made it to the second half, to the first half. Healthy and good. A couple injuries here and there, but overall, we played some really good baseball in that first half. There's a lot to learn from it, and obviously grow. So. We're going to continue that in the second half and, put ourselves in a better position.
But really good baseball, also like some rough patches and losing streaks in this last 6 or 7. I know you faced some good pitchers in this homestand, but how do you assess losing 6 of the last 7?
I mean, we're not even thinking about it. I think, overall we had a good first half. We played a lot of good baseball, and, we did a lot of great things. We did a lot of bad things as well, but we learned from those, and, we turned them around pretty quickly as a team. So, as a group, I think that's all we could ask for is how we bounce back from those losses, how we bounce back from those errors or mental errors, and, move forward with how can we get better. And, this group has been great at it all year.
30 second sellout of the season today at Petco Park. How do you feel about how you guys have played at home and the support you received from fans?
I mean, just playing at home is awesome. I think we've gotten a great support, with our fans. They've come out here and, given us the energy and given us everything that we needed to go out there and perform every single night. So it's been fun, and, hopefully it continues, and, we continue to play the baseball we've been playing, for the second half. Gonna enjoy this break and kind of take that break off and, come back in the second half ready to play baseball and win some games. I think, overall, I think this group wants to win. We have our goal, which is to make it to the postseason and make it deep into the postseason and bring a championship to the city. And that's our goal, and we're going to continue to do that. So, our focus in the second half is going to be that.
Manny, hey, dude, no, Manny, you can't talk about expectations, bro. You can't mention the word expectations. Right. You can't mention postseason or World Series, dude. That's not what are we doing here?
Yeah, honestly, the part of it, my big takeaway in that is like when he was asked by Marty, like, what's it like to play in front of 40,000 people every game or whatever she said. It's like, it's great. They're 26 and 28 at home. That is unbelievable. Like, what an indictment to be 26 and 28 at home. It has nothing to do with what Manny just said there, but that's unbelievable. We talk about things you've given away if you don't make the postseason at the end of the year. We've said this before, too. It is very rare in the history of baseball for a team to be a 500 home team, let alone below 500. It has happened because there's more teams to get in. But it's very rare in the history of the sport to be 500 or worse at home and get into the postseason. And they're walking a fine line, dude. 26 and 28. Like, they've played a ton of home games. I mean, how many? They've got 27 left. They have 27 home games left. That's it. And they're 2 games under 500. Like, get it together, guys, at home. You just went 2-6.
Yeah.
In front of how many? 8 times 40 in front of 330,000 people? You went 2-6. That's crazy.
Yeah. You can make the postseason if you have like a 38-43 home record. Or wait, 42? No.
38-43. I mean, it's happened like one time ever.
But you need to have
Last
like
year's
you need to have,
Houston
you need to have an amazing away record. And they're only 24-21 on the road. You're not like the greatest team on the road ever. I mean, you were playing like it at one point when you were like 19-10, and then you immediately lose 8 in a row. They just love giving back any good that they have done this year, like right away. They love it. They have like a sick obsession with being at 500, and it's frustrating. And who knows? Maybe they'll have all the last laugh because they will make the postseason. They will have a deep run. But I tell you what, you lose 6-7, and someone asks you, "Hey, man, how is that disappointing to play such good baseball and then finish off the first half losing 6-7?" It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Great.
It's fine.
And I think he might have said, Schultz said the same thing. I think he said, I don't know if he said it was a good first half or a great first half. Guys, you got to look yourself in the mirror, like Moises says here. Thank you, Moises, for the super chat. They're 50-49. And he says they're a good average team. I mean, that's kind of average, isn't it? I get upset now when they're over 500. Prediction time. Are they making the postseason? This is obviously the $100 million question or whatever. Like, to say it was a great first half is disingenuous. I mean, truthfully, they are where they should be. They should not be better than this. They stole games in the first half, and they played poorly as well at home. Like, is anyone here right now watching live on replay like, man, they should be better than 50-49? Not from what I saw. They've had injuries. They've overcome deficits. If anything, they should be 49-50 or 48-51 with some of the rabbits they've pulled out of hats this year and some of the injuries they've overcome. That's a credit to them. But to say they're great or was a great first half, they are who we thought they were. Like, they're 50-49. If you've watched all 99 games, you really think they should be 60-39? You'd be lying to yourself. This is who they should be.
I mean, there's like, Schulte always loves to pull out the most positive stats possible. And there's a lot of really good positive stats. Like, don't get me wrong. There's things offensively that they've done for the first 99 games that last year's team could only dream of doing, frankly. But it's a yin and yang, dude. You have all these really, really good offensive numbers for things that last year's team couldn't even get to. But then you look at a lot of other things like your bullpen, your starting pitching, it's like those aren't good. Those aren't as good as you need them to be. And so it all evens out. You can say how great this team is, Schilt, and how much you love this team and this and that. You're 50-49. Your record is what it says you are. Don't tell me the sky's green when it's blue. I'm sorry. You're a 500 team. And oh, by the way, I know he liked to pull this line, so I'll pull it too. If the season ended today, Mike, you're out of the postseason. I know he loved to use that earlier in the year. Well, if the season ends today, we're in the postseason. Well, guess what? Season ended today, you're out and you're fired. So, like, I mean,
it's true.
Like, you start living in reality, maybe, and then these crazy bad stretches maybe don't happen. Maybe if you do live in reality, Mike, and you do understand kind of like what your team is and how you maybe need to push some different buttons at times, then you wouldn't lose 6 of 7 and you wouldn't have crazy 5-game losing streaks, instead of living in a fantasy world where everything is great all the time.
I agree with you. Let's get to some of these supers that are rolling in. Guys, if you're here, subscribe. You're on content for Padres fans. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on X at John Schaefer at Jim Russell SD. We appreciate the supers. Just click the $ below the chat box. Like Murray. Thank you, Murray. We appreciate you. He says, talk is cheap, Manny. Be a leader. He led with his bat for 15 games. He really did. He was one of the best players in baseball over that 15-game stretch. There's no question about it. They played great. But I mean, 99 games in, you've seen elite Manny for 15% of the time, right? Would we all agree? 15 of the 99 games he's been elite. I'm sure there's another series of games where he's been above average. There's a series of games where he's been average. And there's a wide swath of games where he's been below average or bad. So you're 99 games in. He's had an elite 15-game stretch. I don't know what it's going to take, to your point, Jim, like in the second half. I mean, it's going to take a really good August because they got to be positioned.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to worry about September. He's got to position them by continuing what he's done by and large here over the last month. Yeah, the last week's been bad. If the next 30 games are good, Manny, they'll be quote unquote fine. Okay. They'll be heading into September, quote unquote fine. A couple of games up on 500, if not more. If the next 30 games are like a lot of this year, they are in trouble. In fact, I would also say this. What's more important, trade deadline acquisitions or just their health? I mean, this is obvious for any team, but like just getting back the idea of like Musgrove or Tatis or having a healthy Arise. Like, I'd much prefer Tatis Arise being impactful in the second half than whatever they can do at the deadline. That's all fool's gold stuff. Oh, man, they got this great. No, they didn't. It's 50 games. It's a new organization. Very rarely does that pay huge dividends where you're going to win 5 more games now because of the deadline. Go get Toddy back. Go get Arise healthy. Get one of these pitchers back and let them lead you to the postseason. Because asking Garrett Crochet to lead you to the postseason is very wishful.
Truthfully, I don't know if they enter September at 500, if that's gonna like be good enough. Because what if you enter September 500, okay, and you could easily be 5 or 6 back, just because the other teams in front of you could, like the Cardinals, the Mets, the Diamondbacks, right? Like, I think those 3 teams to me are the most scary. I don't believe in Pittsburgh. Paul Skeens, amazing. I just don't think that the last week of the season they're going to be in it. I really don't. I think the Giants are also fool's gold as well, even though Blake Snell looks like Blake Snell from last year, the last 2 starts. And if you get to if you're at 500 entering September, John, and you're like 4 back, that's like a real pot. Like that could happen. When's this? Tell me a time this team has like overcome the odds. You know, like, hey, we trailed by this many games to a wild card spot, and you know we overcame and we had a crazy good month and we made it in. Like they backed their way in 22. If anybody remembers, guys, they backed their way in. Now they had a great postseason run until the NLCS, but they truthfully backed their way in to the postseason in 22. 20 doesn't, whatever. And besides that, nothing. So you get to September, like 4 games out, final wild card spot. The team,
is this Manny's?
I don't know.
I agree. Is this Manny's WAR for the year? 0.9.
Let me double check on this, John.
Yeah, it's 0.9. I just looked it up.
0.9.
So, I mean,
His
multiply
OPS
that,
plus is 109,
which is 9% better than league average. So he's been better. He because he was well below league average, and maybe he's trending better than a 1.6, which is what he's pacing for in WAR. But maybe the trend lines are better than that. Maybe he finishes at 2.1. Yeah, no doubt. Although she'll probably be like back in college at that point, like gym meets in August. But, a 1.6 WAR for Manny Machado is nowhere near good enough. 2 years ago when he was an MVP candidate, like he should be, as a 31-year-old. Now he's 32. I don't know what his WAR was. It was 6 plus. Like, that's a big drop off from a 6 WAR player to a 1.6 to 2 WAR player here in 2024. So, I mean, they're going to need a big second half. I mean, I'm not saying anything that people don't realize. They got to have a bigger second half for Manny than we've seen through 99 games. Where you at Productions, thank you for the super chat. He says, has Manny been drinking the Schilt juice? LOL. They're 50 and 49, and there's major concerns with this team and their health. Like, so delusional, I think is what he's saying there. I mean, there's more questions than answers. There's no question about that. Heading to the road for whatever the order is, Cleveland, DC, Baltimore, at 50 and 49 out of the postseason with the injuries that they're facing right now and with the trade deadline coming up, there's a million questions. a million questions. Not to say they can't be overcome, but I got more questions today than I have about this team basically this year. Would you agree with that, Jim? Like, I've been relatively confident with this team, and right now they were 3 under a couple of times in the midst of 5-game losing streak. So maybe I felt worse about this team previously, but I certainly don't feel good about them heading into the break.
I feel okay about them. I don't feel like great about them. Like, they're not 4 or 5 out. They're 1 out, and they're a game above 500. You know, they're not in the position that we would have liked them to be at the break. We said, hey, 3 games up,
we would take it.
We would take it. A game up after the 12-3 stretch, something went wrong. Like, something happened, and then it did. Something did go wrong. The bar is very low in the National League. You just better hope that Arizona, New York, or St. Louis really wouldn't matter because they're in the 5th. Well, yeah, those 3 teams. If 2 of them go on a tear, you're probably screwed.
Yes, if there are 100%, you're always susceptible to a team going 9-1 behind you or directly in front of you.
Yeah,
because again, it takes away your wiggle. Now there's 3 wild card teams. I think you can still reach for 2 of them pretty easily as we speak today, and that would be St. Louis and whoever's in that 3rd spot right now. Is it the Mets or the Diamondbacks?
It's the Mets.
Okay, so right now you can reach for both the 2nd and 3rd wild card. I don't think they're going to I don't think they're going to be better than Atlanta. Let's be honest. I mean, that would surprise me if they finish the year with a better record than Atlanta.
No.
The other teams, I wouldn't be surprised if the Padres had a better record than the Cardinals, but I wouldn't be surprised vice versa.